Hey, welcome back. I'm Wes Wood, the Income Guy, and today we're looking at last-minute strategies for successful retirement. So far, we've looked at the importance of goal setting and how to fast-track your retirement savings, planning early for Social Security, and possibly downsizing your home. But now, let's look at the most important retirement strategy there is, which is shifting your financial focus from growth to income. Remember that survey I just talked about in the previous segment that found that most people over 60 really don't fear death as much as running out of income in retirement? That's right, they're more fearful of running out of income in retirement than they are passing away. Well, as I mentioned, the survey also shows that whether consciously or subconsciously, most people realize the key to a happy, successful retirement is income. And keep in mind, income once you've identified your own retirement goals. Because if you're like most people, you'll realize that your goals are income-based. That means they're the kinds of things you want to pay for from your regular income stream. Maybe your goals are to travel or enjoy your hobbies or visiting family and maintaining your current lifestyle. Those aren't the kinds of goals you want to pay for by selling stocks or shares from your funds. You want to pay for them out of your regular income stream. And once most people realize this, they instantly see it makes sense to focus on income in their financial plan. And that, in my experience, is the best last-minute strategy for a successful retirement. But you really shouldn't wait till the very last minute to do so once you do retire. Even if you're within 10 years or so in retirement, the right time may be now. Shifting the focus from income before retirement ensures that your goals and your financial strategy are in sync, which is not only logical, but it also increases your chances of achieving those goals. And if you're reluctant to do so because you've been told that you're going to sacrifice growth by investing for income, I've got good news for you too. That is a myth. That's because the income model includes a variety of options that can help you continue growing your savings, but in a more strategic, less risky way than investing directly for growth. And that makes sense for older investors because now older investors have lost the luxury of time to have to recover from a major financial or market loss. An income specialist can help you choose and implement the right strategies for you based on your needs, your goals, and your personal risk tolerance. So what are you waiting for? Now here's my last chance, or your last chance to obtain my timely and informative report, The Fundamentals of Retirement Income. Again, it's free as a part of your retirement income kit, and you can get a kit by visiting retiretv.com or by calling 855-776-0614. But now let's welcome back Dave Scranton for the very last time on today's show, founder of the Retirement Income Store. Dave, thank you for coming back.
Of course, Wes. You know, I want to make sure your viewers heard I believe one of the most important things that you said is that you don't wait till the day of retirement and boom, snap your fingers and go from a growth focus to an income focus with your investments. That's something that's best suited to be done certainly some years before you actually pull the trigger and retire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dave, that's right. I've heard some people even call it the red zone, which is the transitional years before retirement, where you can't afford to not make the change from growth to income. And there's multiple reasons why, but some of the main reasons are that you may not have time to recover from a major market loss if you're still invested for growth and not income. For instance, if somebody's 5-10 years away from retirement and we go through another market cycle like 2000 to 2013 with two major crashes between those two cycles, and somebody's just 5 to 10 years away, it could put them in a situation where they have to make some very difficult choices. For instance, if they're 5 years away from retirement, they lose half of their money in growth. Well, they may have to delay retirement years to let that money build back in order to retire successfully, or maybe they retire early and have to take a huge cut in their income and not be able to really enjoy the retirement they've dreamt of. So those transitional years are all too important to make that switch to income instead of growth.
Mm-hmm. And there's lots of reasons to do that and exercise some of those options. Of course, depending upon your risk tolerance, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a misconception out there that that if you make the transition from growth to income, you're going to sacrifice your returns. And that's just simply not the case whatsoever. And we're seeing that with working with clients now that are 55, 60 years old that aren't really planning on retiring until they're 65, 70 years away. But what they're seeing is that they see that their money is generating interest and dividends, and they're seeing those interest and dividends continue to compound and grow and reinvest back into their portfolio. And what we've seen is now they're not necessarily as worried about the lump sum amount of money they've got in their portfolios. Now they're looking at the income, because they know when they retire, all they're going to do instead of reinvesting a lot of those interest and dividends, they're just going to start spending it. And if they're just spending interest and dividends, by definition, they're not liquidating their principal to live off of it. And they get excited to see that that's coming down the road for them.
Yeah, and if you decide to do it in the stock market, then not only do you get growth from reinvesting the interest and dividends, but you also have the potential for capital appreciation in addition to that.
Right. Yeah, for folks that have the risk tolerance for it, because it's a little bit more aggressive than some of the just bond and bond-like instruments. If you go into common stocks that pay high dividends and you're years away from retirement or you're in retirement and you're comfortable using those, they can be a great way to not only generate a good yield through the dividends, but perhaps some appreciation from the stocks. But the other thing too, keep in mind is that if we get into some volatile markets like we're seeing right now, we just take those interest and dividends and plow them back into the portfolio. And maybe some of those holdings have gone down a little bit. Well, that just means that we can take those dividends and buy more of those shares when they're down in value. And so when they're down in value, they're gobbling up more shares. So when the market rebounds, they're going to see quite a bit more accumulation of their portfolio as well. And the best thing about it in my mind is more income through that dollar cost averaging technique.
Yeah, it's funny how some people, when they were, saving and working in 2009 during the financial crisis, they said, what do you mean the markets went down over 50%? My account never dropped by more than 50%. And that's because they were plowing money in every month. They were dollar cost averaging, but they lose sight of the fact that as you get closer to retirement, and as the amount that you're putting away every year is smaller and smaller as a percentage of your total assets, you don't get the same dollar cost averaging benefits as you did in your early career.
Yep, that's right. I mean, if somebody had $100,000 years ago and they're putting $20,000 a year into it, well, that's a lot bigger percentage going in buying all the time. But now if they have $1 million and they're putting in the same 20,000, well, obviously that's far less of a percentage. But yeah, we can use those interest and dividends just to compound and get that dollar cost averaging done as well. A great way during those transitional years to invest. But Dave, thank you again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Wes Wood, the Income Guy, and I want to say thank you for watching. If you have any questions about anything we've covered on today's show, please reach out to me at retiretv.com or by calling 855-776-0614.